Textured lash sets have been taking the industry by storm, and we are here for it. Join me as I get to lash Caitlin and give her a full set of long and textured lashes to complement her eye shape. Before beginning my set, I always start with a lash bath, no matter if it's a fill or a full set, because what this does is it will strip the lashes of oil and debris, which will make our lash set last even longer. Yes, it is an extra step, but I find that it actually saves me time during my service because my lashes aren't popping off along the way. Also, take a look at how I'm gently tilting her head to the side and placing a cloth on the side of her face. This ensures that we are rinsing all of that cleanser off of the lashes to make sure there is no residue left on the eyes. After doing a thorough cleanse, we are going to prime. So a common question we often get is, can you get away with just priming or lash bathing, or do you have to do both? I've experimented with all options, and in my personal experience, I have gotten the best retention by doing both, because the lash bath will completely strip the oils from the lashes and the eyelids, and the primer makes the lashes more porous, which will help suction the glue to the lashes, almost like a magnet. So by doing these two steps alone, you will notice a huge difference in your retention. So you can see that I'm applying the product from root to tip with micro swabs, and I'm using very minimal product to avoid getting it in her eyes. For adhesive, I started out with our Sino-free glue, which cures at about 2 to 3 seconds. Once I got into the flow of lashing and felt like I was speeding through the service, I switched over to our Quickie adhesive, which cures at about 1 second. So if you're someone who's new at creating textured lash sets and are looking for some guidance, I'll be sharing a few of my favorite tips within this video. And my first tip is to lash in layers. This will make your set look uniform but also textured, because each layer will have a specific mapping with different lengths, which will create a stair-like effect. So for this set, I'll be starting on the top layer where I'll be applying my wet lash spikes. I often prefer to start on the top layer because it's easier for me to place my extensions at an equal distance away from each other and begin building a beautiful shape. Speaking of shape, the style that I chose for Caitlin today is a doll eye map. She requested length in the middle of her eye instead of the outer corners, and I knew that this style would complement her so well because she has so much space between her lash line and her eyebrows. For her top layer, I used lengths 8 to 15 in C curl. Once I finished off the top layer, I grabbed my inspection mirror and took a look to make sure that all of my spikes were well directed. If one was slanting over to the left or to the right or didn't flow with the other lashes, I would simply replace with a new one before moving on to the next part of my set. Now I'm moving on to my bottom layer, which is absolutely the most important layer of the set. If you watch any of our videos, you know that we preach lashing the bottom layer because this is the layer that your client sees with their eyes open. It also makes the lash line look darker and the set looks complete when it's 100% lashed. So to easily access that bottom layer, I used one of our standard gel eye pads to pull back the lashes so I can get a clear view of the bottom layer and make sure that none are missed. Because Caitlin has blonde natural lashes, I'm placing my extension underneath the natural lash on that bottom layer. And what that does is it hides the blonde lashes up into the middle layer and will make the extension kind of look like it's growing out from the lash line, which will overall give a darker result. It's a really great hack, especially for blonde clients who are wanting a darker lash line. I'm also using our mid-stem pre-fans in 8D. I am obsessed with these pre-fans because they are just the perfect option for, honestly, any client. They have a really nice dark and snatched base that turns into a really nice full and fluffy fan. So you're not only achieving a darker lash line, but you're also getting full coverage. If you have lashed with these mid-stem pre-fans, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. They just have the most perfect finish on any client. And if you haven't tried out these pre-fans, you can check out the code in the description below for a one-time use coupon code. Before moving on to the middle layer of the set, we would like to know what your most requested lash style is. Personally, my clients have been asking for textured sets with a mix of wet lashes and wide and narrow fans. Go ahead and let us know in the comments below. For my middle layer, I switched over to handmade fans in 0.05 because I wanted to use narrow fans to add a little bit more density to the set. To create my fans, I'm just fanning off of the strip, which is my personal favorite, and I find I have a lot more control over creating my fan. I'm also using Lost Artistry's Slim Boot Tweezer for pickup, which is an incredible option if you are a new or advanced volume lash artist, because it has a very large sweet spot. When you're a beginner in handmade volume, there is so much to learn between fan symmetry, weights and dimensions, and getting to know your tweezer. But with Slim Boot, you will find your sweet spot in no time. Not to mention, you don't need a lot of pressure when gripping your fan, which is amazing, especially if you are lashing all day. By eliminating some of that pressure, it will do wonders for your wrist and hand health. If you haven't tried out this tweezer and you want to give it a go, or you love it so much that you have to have an extra one, you can apply the same discount code as mentioned earlier in the description below and add it on to your order. As for my isolation tweezer, I'm using our Sunset Ultra, another holy grail that gets me through any service. Whenever I do any textured lash set, I always go back and forth between both eyes. For example, if I were to place a wet lash spike on the top layer, inner corner on the left eye, I'll place the exact same lash in the same spot on the other eye, and that's gonna help balance out your set. With textured lash sets, it's really easy to make both eyes look asymmetrical because you're working with so many different maps and lashes on each layer, so it's definitely recommended to work back and forth on each eye. I always have an inspection mirror handy when I do these kinds of sets because I can take a look at both eyes to see how they're looking from my client's point of view. I like to check out my direction, my placement, and see if both eyes are balanced. I'd say I check on the set every 20 to 30 minutes to make sure it's still looking good. Now that we are at the end, aka the most exciting part, we can now super bond the lashes. Super Bonder is a post-service product that is applied directly to the bond of the extensions 2 minutes after placing your last extension. This product will add flexibility to the bond, meaning if your client likes to sleep on their side, the bond of the adhesive will bend with the object that comes into contact with the lashes, rather than having the bond snap and the lashes fall out. It also cures the adhesive and locks in the glue fumes so your client can wet their lashes right away, and then when they open their eyes, they won't feel any burning. Just make sure you use a minimal amount of product. If you lash bath and prime and super bond, your retention is going to be out of this world. All your clients are going to be coming back with amazing retention, your fills will be quicker, and you'll be able to get more clients in and out the door. Now that my Super Bonder has been applied, I'm going to give the lashes a quick dry and wait 1 minute before asking Caitlin to open her eyes. If you enjoyed today's sneaky little discount code, go ahead and watch some of our old content. We are always hiding discount codes within the videos and in the captions. Thanks so much for watching.